Hi students and friends, this is your host and teacher Syed Ayazuddin Haider. You are watching Learn and Teach by Sir Ayaz. So I was doing past papers for IGCSE. Code is 0620 and this time I have selected the variant 2000, variant 22 and it's of October-November 2023. I'm not going to read the instructions or other formalities. Let's start the paper. Number one, part of a cooling curve for water is shown. On x-axis, you see time in minutes, and y-axis, you see temperature in centigrade. What is occurring between points x and y? So it's a cooling curve of water, which means we are starting from the steam state, steam to water, then ice. So A, steam is condensing into water. The temperature for steam is 100 degrees centigrade, and if you see the graph, this point is not touching 100 degrees centigrade. So it means it can't be the steam. It must be liquid water. So this can't be the right statement. B, temperature of the water is decreasing. There is a cooling curve of water, which means we are converting steam into ice. So between point X and Y, there's no change in temperature. You see this point, there's no change in temperature, so the temperature is not decreasing. C, ice is melting. This is also incorrect. Ice is not melting. Choice D, particles are losing heat to the surrounding. This must be the correct statement, D. Question number 2. Which statements about clean, dry air are correct? Number 1, it's a mixture of elements only. It's not a mixture of elements only. It must contain compound because it contains water, which is a compound. Carbon dioxide is also a compound. So this statement is incorrect. Number 2, it is a mixture of elements and compounds. This statement is correct. It is a mixture of elements and compounds. 3, it contains only non-metals. This is also correct because it does not contain any metals in it. So C must be the right answer for this question. 3, a representation of an atom is shown. What is the nucleon number of this atom? Simply count the number of atoms, number of subatomic particles in this part of the atom. This is nucleus. In order to find the nucleon number, you have to count the number of subatomic particles in the nucleus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 is the right answer. Number 4. The percentage abundances of 3 isotopes in a sample of neon are shown. So isotopes Ne20, Ne21, Ne22. It's a percentage abundance. We have 90.48, 0.27, 9.25. What is the relative atomic mass AR of this sample of neon? What you'll do, you simply multiply with the mass number by the percentage abundance. So we have Ne20. So 20 will be multiplied by 90.48 plus 21 multiplied by 0.27 plus 9.25 22 multiplied by 9.25, and this whole will be divided by 100. So what you will get? 20 into 90.48, 1809.6 plus 21 multiply by 0.27. 5.67 plus 22 multiply by 9.25, 203.5 divided by 100. So 1809.6 plus 5.67 plus 203.5 divided by 100. So 20.187, it must be B. 5. Potassium reacts with iodine to form potassium iodide. Which statement about potassium iodide is correct? A. Each potassium atom shares a pair of electrons with an iodine atom. Let's look at the position of potassium and iodine. Here's potassium, it's in group 1, it's a metal. This iodine. Iodine group 7, it's a non-metal. So it must be ionic. Ionic compound. See, ionic compound, there's a transfer of electrons or loss and gain of electrons. So statement A is incorrect. B. In potassium iodide, the particles of potassium have more protons than electrons. This statement looks correct to me. So I will write tick here. Because potassium is a metal, you see here, it's a metal, it will lose electrons. So the number of protons will definitely be higher than the number of electrons. C. Potassium iodide has a high melting point because it's a covalent compound. This is wrong because it's due to ionic bonding, a strong electrostatic force. D. Potassium iodide has a low melting point because it's an ionic compound. This is also wrong. It must have high melting point. It's due to the presence of ionic bond. So B will be the right answer for number 5. Number 6. Which substance has the lowest melting point? A. Graphite. It's a giant structure. It's wrong. This is wrong. B. Methanol. It looks correct to me because it's a simple molecule, contains simple molecules of methanol with weak intermolecular force. Silicon peroxide, again giant structure. Sodium chloride, again giant structure, which is a giant ionic lattice here. So B must be the right answer for MCQ number 6. Number 7. The diagram shows the structure of a molecule of ethyl ethanoate. What is the molecular formula of a molecule of ethyl ethanoate? Molecular formula. Let's count the number of carbon atoms first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Must be C4. So either choice B is correct or C is correct. A and D is incorrect. You can narrow down the choice. Always do this. When you narrow down the choices, it will become easier for you to pick the right answer. What about hydrogen atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C4H8. Oxygen 1, 2. C4H8O2. So it must be B. You can't have C as your correct answer. So B is the final answer for number 7. Moving to next part. Next question. The formula of a compound containing element. Number 7. A hydrocarbon contains 85.7% of carbon by mass. What is the empirical formula of hydrocarbon? What are hydrocarbons? Contain hydrogen and carbon only. So they mentioned the mass for carbon here. We can find the mass of hydrogen by subtracting 85.7 from 100. So I will write C here. It's 85.7 hydrogen, 100 minus 85.7, 14.3. AR of carbon is 12. Hydrogen, it's 1. So I will divide 85.7 by 12 and 14.3 by 1. For carbon, we will get 85.7 divided by 12, 7.141. 7.141. Hydrogen, it's 14.3. So the lowest value in this is 7.141. Both of these will be divided by 7.141. For carbon, we'll get 1 moles of carbon. What about hydrogen? 14.3 divided by 7.141, 2.00. So it must be CH2. So A must be the right answer for this question. 9. The formula of a compound containing element X is Na2X2O3. The relative formula mass of the compound is 158. What is the relative atomic mass of X? Let's consider X as small x. We need to know the AR, or mass number of sodium and oxygen. Sodium, it's here. Its AR is 23. What about oxygen? It's in group 6. It's 16. So for sodium, what I will do? I will multiply 2 by 23 plus the 2 atoms of X. So I will write 2x plus 3 multiplied by 16 is equal to 158. So 2 multiplied by 23, we will get 46 plus 2x plus 3 multiplied by 16, 48 is equal to 158. So 46 plus 48, 94. 2x plus 94 is equal to 158. Or 2x is equal to 158 minus 94. 158 minus 94, 64. So x is equal to 64 by 2, which will be 32. So A must be the right answer for number 9. This will be the atomic mass of X. Number 10, dilute aqueous potassium chloride is electrolyzed using platinum electrodes. Which row identifies the product at each electrode? So we have a dilute aqueous potassium chloride. So at anode, we must get oxygen. So narrow down the choices. A and B is incorrect. Either C is correct or D is correct. What about the product at cathode? At cathode, we must get hydrogen, not potassium. So C must be the right answer for this question. Moving to next question. 11. Concentrated aqueous copper 2 chloride is electrolyzed using copper electrodes as shown. We have copper electrodes and we have aqueous copper 2 chloride solution. What happens to the mass of each electrode during the process, during this process? As you have copper electrodes, so copper ions will move towards cathode. This is a cathode. Copper deposit. What will happen at anode? At anode, copper lose electrons. So there must be increase in mass at negative electrode and decrease in mass at positive electrode. So B must be the right answer for this question. 12. The initial and final temperatures of 4 different reactions are measured. Which reaction is the least exothermic? What are exothermic reactions? The reactions which release heat to the surrounding. So there must be a rise in temperature, final temperature. So if you will see in A and D, there is a rise in temperature. So either A is correct or D is correct. Both B and C is incorrect because the decrease in temperature. Both of these are endothermic. Now let's see the difference. 25 minus 19 is 6 degrees centigrade rise in temperature of the surrounding. What about D? 26 minus 22, 4 degrees centigrade. So D must be the right answer. Number 13, which equation represents an endothermic reaction? So endothermic reaction involves breaking of bonds. So this looks correct to me. What about B? B is an example of combustion reaction. It's an exothermic reaction. Combustion reactions are exothermic. What about C? C involves the making of bonds. Making of bonds is exothermic, making of bonds. This is also exothermic. This can't be the right answer also. D, dissolving potassium in water produces potassium hydroxide and hydrogen. It's an exothermic reaction. So obviously choice A will be the right answer for number 13. 14, methane burns in oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. CH4 gas plus 2O2 gas gives CO2 gas plus 2H2O liquid. The bond energies are shown. Here we have bond energies. What is the energy change for this reaction? So we have CH4. I am drawing the displayed formula for CH4 plus 2O2. 2 moles of O2, 1 mole, 2 mole. On the product side, we are getting CO2. O double bond, C double bond O plus 2H2O means 2 moles of water, HOH. So for the reactants, we have how many bonds of CH? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 will be multiplied by 410 plus 2 moles of oxygen. So 2 multiplied by 496. Bracket closed. Minus 2 CO bonds. 1, 2. So 2 multiplied by 805. Plus we have 4 OH bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 will be multiplied by 460. 4 multiplied by 410. 1640 plus 2 multiplied by 496. 992 minus 2 multiplied by 805. We'll get 1610 plus 4 multiplied by 460. 1840. So 1640 plus 992 gives 2632 minus 1610 gives 1022 minus 1840. The answer must be minus 818. So A must be the right answer for this question. Number 15. Hydrochloric acid is added to excess calcium carbonate in 2 separate experiments. 2 different concentrations of hydrochloric acid are used, but the temperature is the same in both experiments. The graph of the results shows the volume of carbon dioxide gas given off. Which row is correct? Now, particles in 2 mole per dm cube compared to 1 mole per dm cube. What do you expect? The collision will be higher or lower? It must be higher. So either A is correct or B is correct. Both C and D is incorrect. What about the collision energy, sorry. They are not having any collision energy here. They don't have any collision energy. So A must be the right answer. B can't be the right answer. It's related to temperature change, which is not happening here. Number 16, the decomposition of dinitrogen tetroxide N2O4 into nitrogen dioxide NO2 is a reversible reaction. The equation for the reaction is shown. Here's the reaction equation. N2O4 gas gives 2NO2 gas. The forward reaction is endothermic. So delta H is endo in the forward direction. So in the backward direction, it must be exo. Delta H is equal to minus. Which row shows the effect on the position of equilibrium and the rate of the reverse reaction when the temperatures increase? Now we know that whenever the temperature is increased, the rate of the reaction in both the direction will increase. So either B is correct or D is correct. Both A and C is incorrect. So what's they are saying in B? When you increase the temperature, it will shift to the right hand side on the product side because it's endothermic. Forward direction, it's endothermic. So D must be the right answer. B is incorrect. Number 17, in a blast furnace, iron 3 oxide is converted to iron and carbon monoxide is converted to carbon dioxide. There is a reaction. What happens to each of these reactants? A, both iron 3 oxide and carbon monoxide are oxidized. This is wrong. Only carbon monoxide is oxidized. Iron 3 oxide is reduced. B, both iron 3 oxide and carbon monoxide reduced. This is incorrect again. C, iron 3 oxide is oxidized. Carbon monoxide is reduced. This is again incorrect. The last statement is left, which is the right answer in this case. I am reading the statement. Iron 3 oxide is reduced and carbon monoxide is oxidized. 18. Which row describes what happens to Fe2 plus ions when they are oxidized? When they are oxidized, the oxidation number increases. Electron movement is that they lose electron. So C must be the D must be the right answer because oxidation state increases. It does not decrease. All the other choices are incorrect. Number 19. In which reaction does an acid react with a base? A, dilute sulfuric acid is added to a piece of magnesium ribbon producing hydrogen. Now you have to recall the definition of base. What is definition of a base? Proton acceptor. So in this reaction is magnesium. When magnesium is reacted with sulfuric acid, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas is produced. So it's not accepting proton here. So it's a incorrect choice. What about B? Dilute sulfuric acid is added to aqueous barium chloride producing a white precipitate of barium sulfate. This is also incorrect. It's also again not accepting proton here. Well, if you look at this equation for this, it's also incorrect. What about C? In C, sodium hydroxide is added to aqueous copper 2 sulfate producing a blue precipitate of copper 2 hydroxide. It's not accepting proton, only D is left, which is the right answer. When sodium hydroxide is added to solid ammonium sulfate, we'll get gaseous ammonia. So ammonium sulfate, it's donating proton. So sodium hydroxide, we're getting hydroxide ion, it's accepting the proton from ammonium. So it must be the right answer. I am not satisfied with the question, with this question. The reason is that in this question, if you react sulfuric acid with barium chloride, this is the reaction H2SO4 plus BaCl2, although it's an example of precipitation reaction. So if you see the logic here, we are getting BaSO4 plus 2HCl, which means Cl2 has accepted a proton. So I am not satisfied with this choices for this question. Either of these is correct. Number 20, which element forms an oxide that reacts with an aqueous solution of a base? An element forming an oxide that reacts with an aqueous solution of a base. Argon does not react, so A is incorrect. What about sulfur? Sulfur reacts to form sulfur dioxide or sulfur trioxide. It's an acidic oxide and it will definitely react with base. So this looks correct to me. C, magnesium, D, copper, both of these form basic oxide. They do not react. So obviously choice B will be the right answer for this question. Thanks for watching. Press like and share my videos. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon.